Okay, we're going to go on to step 1 of the Unit 12 learning activity, where we're going to add Firebase to our Flutter app. And this first thing we're going to do is follow Google's instructions for this. So I'm going to open this up and stuff. Now, one of the problems, this is probably the most challenging area of adding Firebase to a project, is just all these configuration files. It takes a while to do this. There's a video here that can follow along, but watch a lot of the versions and stuff actually change, and a lot of these things are out of date because Flutter version changes, Firebase version changes, and Android Studio version changes all can affect this stuff. Hopefully, if you remember when we did Android Java version, there was a wizard which actually did almost all of this for us, and that's not available yet in Flutter for us. So, okay, so make sure you've got this switched to Android instead of iOS so that we can see the Android app. The prerequisites you should have all done. So the first thing we're going to do is create a Firebase project. We can click on this to open up. We're going to open up the Firebase console. Here's the Firebase console. Make sure you're logged in with your CSS ID here. You might have multiple projects. Each project generally can actually tie into multiple apps and multiple databases, but generally it's one set kind of family of apps, like an Android app, an iOS app, and maybe a web page, all using maybe shared data. So we're going to create a new project here, give it some name, item list recorded. Now we don't need to use Google Analytics. It adds a little more complexity to things, so I'm going to disable that, and then I'm going to create this project, and it will take a sec to create. So once that project is created, we'll hit OK, and then it should bring you into this project. So we're in Firebase, we're in the project overview. Now if you're just in the Firebase console, you'll see your project listed here, and you can just click on it at any time and it brings you to the same menu. Now, so we've created that project, and so now we're going to register our app with Firebase. And again, going back here, so you can register it with multiple different things, a web, Android, or iOS. We're going to do the Android one here. So we're going to click on that. Now we need to get the company name, and again from here it says we should be getting that from our the package name is the ID name, and it should be from your Gradle file, the app level Gradle file here. So we're going to go back into Android Studio, open up Android app, and then look at the build.gradle file. If we scroll down a little bit past all these initial definitions and stuff, there should be the Android and the default config, and then one of the things in here is our application ID. So this is what we're going to take, copy that out, put that over here, the company name. Now your nickname, you can just say, you know, this is my item list or something like this. This will just be displayed on the console. We don't need to do a certificate here. This is for Google sign in and stuff like that, and we're not needing to do that right now. And then we'll just register this app. Now let's jump back here. While we're in this build.gradle, it seems like some of the minimum SDK is 16, and I think it helps to increase this to 21. A number of the tutorials I've seen nowadays will recommend switching this. So while you're here, when you're getting, again, that's the Android app level build.gradle file where we grab the application ID, just switch this up to a minimum SDK of 21 for this. Okay. So now we're just going to keep following along, and this actually mirrors what's over here. There is to add the Firebase console, but we're just following along with this step-by-step stuff here. So there's this Google services.json file. We're going to download that, and then that goes into your app level. Now, one of the problems I will have sometimes is that I already have one out here and it's downloading another one here. So I want to make sure I delete this one and save this without the number 1 next to it. There. Okay, so that'll download. Now we want to put it in again your app folder here. So I'm going to grab this file and just drag and bring it over here. Oops, I guess I might have to resize this so you can see it appropriately. Okay. I'm going to, under Android and app, I want to put it underneath there for us. So let's see if I can do that again. So you might have to find it in the folder right here, but you should be able to bring it in there and drop it in the app folder and say refactor, and it should pop up there, and add it to GitHub so that it is in here for you. So you should see that listed. Okay, so we've added that here. Our next thing is to add some files related to the Firebase SDK here. So first, we're going to look at two different build.gradle ones. The first is the project level one. So that's in the Android folder, and that's this build.gradle file here. And under repositories, we should see Google already listed there. That's good. And under dependencies, we should see this line. We want to add this line. So under dependencies here, we want to add this line here. I just want to paste that in there again. Okay, I already did that, so that goes in there. We want to check under all projects that Google should be listed there here. So that takes care of our project level, at the Android level, build.gradle file. Now, we want to look inside the app folder, and there's another build.gradle file. That's this one, and then we're going to make some changes. So this is the project level one. This is the app level one. We want to add this plugin for Go Services, so we want to copy that. And again, go up here for the plugins. Here was the Android one. There's actually one for Flutter here too. And we want to add this Google Services one. So we're just going to copy it from here and paste it in here for us. Okay, and then we should be good. Now, you don't have to do necessarily sync now because we are in Flutter, and this is actually for just an Android app. So I'm going to hit next here, and I'm going to skip over this stuff here. Go back to my instructions here. Well, let's go back to these instructions. So register your Flutter-based app. Add the Firebase configuration files here, and again we added these, all these in here. And now we're going to go on to the step 4 and add the Firebase plugins here. Because we're doing a Flutter-based app, the other stuff was general for Android stuff. So we're going to edit this pubspec YAML file. So in here, I'm going to close out this whole Android stuff and go into the pubspec Android. I don't need this build.gradle here. Pubspec YAML file here. And I want to look under dependencies and add this Firebase core here. So under dependencies, add Firebase core. Make sure it should be like, I think, 2 spaces in. It has to be at the same level as Flutter and provider. You don't actually need provider, but I have that in mind. And Firebase core. So make sure you don't have it equal level with the SDK. Bring it back here. So Firebase core is in here. So we're going to do that. And then if you're using like Google Analytics, you need that, or Google Authorization, or Cloud Firestore here that you could put in there. And we're going to use the Cloud Firestore. So we're going to put that in here. So post that in here. Now, the versions here are different than the versions here because this is already out of date, like I mentioned. So, and then it says do a pub get, and then we're kind of done here. So I'm going to close this off, go back to our instructions, and these are the actual ones we'll use. Firebase core 1.03 or greater. So we have a little greater there, our little thing, and Cloud Firestore here. So use those. And again, so this is in your pub spec, and then you'll do a pub get here to get this these dependencies. The last thing we should do, and we actually skipped over this, is go into your Firebase console and add your and create a Firestore database here. So make sure you open up your Firebase console. Hopefully I'll remember to switch this back to a link. And then open up your project. So Firebase console, here's our project that we created. And then I'm going to make this a little bigger here. I want to see this menu off to the right here for us. And so in this menu, let's expand this menu. One of the options is Firestore database. Click on that, and we want to create an initial Firestore database. Otherwise, our project will hang. So hit this create Fire database. And make sure you switch it to test mode. We're not doing any authentication, and so it'll let anyone with our app write to this database for now. So to say that's okay, it'll last for 30 days, and then it'll use a server in the United States and set that up. Now we can actually leave this open because when we're running our app in a little bit, we'll come back here and we'll be able to see our data displayed in the Firebase console here. So here's our thing, and there shouldn't be any collections, but we should have a database up and ready to go here. And our rules should be set to open rules so anyone can read and write for development and test. So we shouldn't have to change those. Okay, so we'll leave that. So that ends this step one. We should have Firebase all ready to go and Firestore all ready to go in our project.